Secretary of State, you've repeatedly said, the government have repeatedly said that no deal is better than a bad deal. Is that where we are now, given the fact that Parliament has roundly decided that Theresa May's deal is a bad deal?
Over the last week or so, I've detected a growing willingness of my colleagues on both sides of the House and amongst those who voted Leave and Remain to come to an agreement. And I think that there's a growing understanding that it's in everyone's interest to do so. I think that there was, for the Labour MPs, they had a party commitment to try to vote for a general election in a confidence vote and vote against the government's deal. They've done both of those. A lot of my colleagues took a hardline position over the Irish backstop. They've done that. Fine, now let's look to see where we can find a compromise. The government is looking to see on that Irish issue whether we can make progress. And if you think about it, the Irish government doesn't want to have a hard border with the UK. We don't want to have a hard border with the Irish government. The problem is that the mechanism in the withdrawal agreement could have caught the UK in a customs union potentially indefinitely. That's what a huge number of MPs were concerned about. Now, if we can find a way to satisfy the desire of both governments in a different mechanism, then that would potentially be a way forward.
But if not, and there is no sign that Dublin or indeed Brussels has changed its mind on this, if there is no movement on the backstop, then surely are you going to say that the government's position then should still remain to be no deal?
Well, the law in Britain says that the European treaties will no longer apply to Britain after the 29th of March. So there are two ways to avoid that. One would be to change the law. The second would be to get to a deal. If you were to change the law and you were to extend Article 50, that would almost certainly mean that Britain would have to fight the European elections under the law. I can't see that the European Parliament would be too thrilled to have 70 British MEPs stuck there who didn't want to be there. And I can't imagine British taxpayers would be willing to happily pay the cost of that campaign.
And just very finally, you've got a message for Brussels. You're talking to a European audience. What is your message to Brussels? What do you want to see them do over the next couple of weeks? Because at the moment, they are pretty clear that on this issue of the backstop, on this issue of the withdrawal agreement that was thumpingly defeated last week, they are not going to move. So what do you want them to do?
My view is that everyone should stand back, recognise that Britain has voted to leave the European Union, but Britain wants to be an active partner in an economic cooperation with the European Union. It's in all our interests to do so. And here we are in Davos at a time of rising global protection, where we've seen a big drop in the growth in the Chinese economy. Potentially not great news coming out of the Japanese economy today. The French and German economies are more fragile than they've been for some time. This is not a time to put politics ahead of our trade and our business activity. So it's time for everyone to take a step back and we need to be rational about the opportunities that we have in front of us.